Hello, good afternoon, ladies. Welcome to Wednesday's class. Even though it's Wednesday, we're doing our pull exercises today. We're shifted this week to Wednesday, Friday. So working our back, our biceps, always legs and abs. We will be using a long band today if you have it. If you don't, the alternative for today would be a towel. So there's no dumbbell replacements. It's just a standard towel. So long band if you have it. If you don't, grab yourself just like a little hand towel would work perfectly. Other than that, it is all dumbbell work. So I'll give it a second, let a couple people jump online. All right, so let's get into it. So we'll start with our usual warm-up. So we'll go with our feet hip distance apart, toes pointing straight forward, reach down towards the ground, and up overhead, tip, and twist. All right, come nice and wide with the feet. Same reaches. Okay, all the way narrow. Okay, then come back to hip distance apart. Externally rotate your toes. And then reach. And our very last one, internally rotate. Perfect. All right, we are going to start out with our deadlift exercise again today, but today we're going to go with that, so kind of like we do in our stretches here, but we're going to go a little bit wider and toed out. So you're going to hold the dumbbells inside your knees, and then you're just pushing your hips back, nice flat back, and stand up tall, squeeze that butt on the way up. So probably your heavy weights, depending on how comfortable you feel with that deadlift motion. Okay, so feet fairly wide, toed out, hold the weights inside, hinge forward, push that butt back, nice neutral spine, stand up tall, and then go right back down again. Make sure you're getting all the way up. That's the most common mistake I see on this one is people don't come all the way, kind of come up, 3/4, and they have that last few inches left to go. So all the way up, squeeze the butt, push it forward. And 12. All right, so then we're going to do some hammer curls, but we're going to alternate sides today. So I'm going to keep my heavy dumbbells. I'm going to go 1, pull it all the way up to the shoulder, let it come all the way down before you start the other side, okay? So they're alternating, not passing in the air. So there's 12 on each side of this one. 11 and 12. All right, same weights again. We're going to get into that kind of bent over posture, and then we're going to actually let these pass. So it's not the alternating one arm row. You're letting them pass. So halfway up, halfway down. Kind of don't let one come all the way down before you're starting the other. So it gives a little twist in your torso as you do that. That's the point of the reciprocal row. sip of water. All right, back to our wide, externally rotated deadlifts. So hold those weights nice and narrow. Push the butt back. So the knees are bending, but you're not squatting down. There's just like a slight bend in your knees as you go down. And 12. All right, shake that out a little bit. Stand up nice and tall, shoulders back, alternating so they are not passing each other. Hammer curls. And 12. All right, bent over posture, and this one, they do pass each other, okay? So sometimes it's easier to get in the groove if you start with one up and one down, and then get right into the switching as you go. Think about pulling with your shoulder blades as you come up. It's not all arms, get that back involved. 12 and 12. All right, so lay it down. Those hands break, especially if you're doing your heavy dumbbells. All three of them. All right, so last time. Wide stance, toed out, and hinge. So just bending forward at the hips. And 12. All right, shake it out, shoulders back, hammer curl. 1 and 1. Ten, 11, 12, and 12. All right, and then that bent over posture, start with one up, one down, and switch. And 12. Oh, all right, so lay that down. That is our first circuit done. So take another little breather here. Like I I said, we are going to be using the band in this circuit for 2 exercises. So if you don't have that long band, grab yourself a towel. All right, first exercise, you can do it with body weight if you wish, or you can go all the way up to your heavy dumbbell. We're going to start with both feet together, and then we're going to step back on a 90-degree angle. So both feet, toes are pointing forward to start. When I land, my foot is at a 90-degree angle from the other foot, okay? And then you just kind of sit down on that leg. Okay, so the stepping leg, you sit down on it as you rotate backwards. And the weight, if you're using it, just kind of follows your body weight. So as you sit back, it's kind of back there over your back leg. Okay, get to your 12, and then switch up sides. If you had one. This next exercise, so basically you do the same thing if you don't have the band, just holding the towel. You won't go anywhere, but you'll be getting that little, what we call an isometric contraction every time. So first one, you're going to hold your band out with your palms down. Arms are straight out from your chest. Pull it open. Swinging. If it swings too much, is hitting stuff, you can loop your hands through or put your hand through the loops. I'll show you that on the next set. Okay, and then we're going right into the palms up, elbows tucked in at a 90-degree angle. So tuck them in by your ribs. Hold it with the palms up grip this time, and then open up that way. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. All right, even with this heavy band, I don't actually move too far. I'm getting the tension from the band, so it's similar to how the towel would look if you're using a towel. All right, that's our circuit again. So take a quick little break. Grab your dumbbell if you're using one, and we'll go for our rotational lunge. 90-degree angles. And 12. All right, other side. And 12. All right, grab that band or a towel, whatever you're using. And we'll go with our straight arms, palms down, pull apart. So yeah, I did say, so if you want it to stop swinging, kind of just loop your hands in the handles like that. And then grab your band. And you won't be knocking anybody out or knocking stuff off the shelves. 11, 12. Okay, and then you're just going palms up, 90-degree angle at the elbow, tucked in by your ribs. Open those shoulders. Like I said, if you got a fairly tight band, you're not going to go too far, but squeeze between those shoulder blades. And 12. Perfect. All right, that's round 2 of circuit 2. Grab your sip of water. I make a point of taking a sip of water in between each circuit, whether I'm thirsty or not, because by the time I'm finished, I've got basically a whole bottle of water down. So it helps with the daily intake. All right, last time with our rotational lunge. So 90-degree angle, let that weight just follow where your body weight goes. And 12. Okay, other side. Okay. 11, 12. All right, get rid of that. Okay, pull apart, palms down, shoulder height, straight arms, pull it open. When you're pulling it, really try to think about using these muscles back here to open it up. All right, here we go. All right, palms up, elbows 90 degrees. Same idea. Use those muscles back by your shoulder blades. And 12. Perfect. All right, that's round 2, circuit 2 done. So we are going to come down to the floor. I'll give you a second to get a sip of water, roll out your mat if you need to. All right, first exercise, we did it, I believe, last week. So if you're a beginner, you're just going to hold the high plank position, which is like the top of a push-up. So you're just holding that position, not moving anywhere. If you are more advanced and can control your hips here, and so your hips are not kind of bobbing around everywhere, you're in that same position, but if these are your feet, you're going to step out, step in, step out, step in. So you're just alternating back and forth like that. The goal is, though, to keep your hips nice and stable so they're not rocking back and forth, popping up and down. Okay, you got to control that pelvis and do your walkouts. All right, so whichever version you choose, let's go. All right, anywhere, so 6 to 12 reps, 12 on each side, 6 on each side is great, but just stay in that high plank if you don't feel comfortable. All right, so we're back to our pelvic tilts here today. Simple exercise, but so good for using those inner core muscles. So it's that one, you kind of take that lower back, use your lower abs and press down into the floor, okay? Exhale. Everything squeezes. Inhale, relax. Exhale, squeeze, flatten. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Relax. Good, just a slight little pause at the bottom. Make sure everything's squeezed and you're exhaled all your air. And relax. One more. Big exhale. Squeeze everything, flatten onto the floor. And relax. All right, next one, third one in this group, you're going to cross one leg over the other knee, so like my ankle is on the other knee. And then you take the opposite hand, and you're going to crunch that elbow up towards the opposite knee. So right now my left elbow is going up towards my right knee. Okay, so crunch up and back down. Same thing, exhale on the way up. As those abs contract, you're exhaling. Okay, we do have to do this on the other side. If you feel like your head is really heavy and your neck muscles are kind of being overworked, push your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Your neck muscles do have to work, but that just helps them engage a little bit better. All right, we're rolling back over, so we're going to get into the high plank or the walkouts, whichever version you're doing. If you are doing the walkouts, don't feel like you got to suffer through 12. If you feel like your form is slipping, get 6, 8, 10, whatever you got with good form. All right, here we go. All right, once you're done those, flip it over to our good old pelvic tilts. All right, it's hard to see what's happening here, but hopefully my description, you can get it. So it's exhale, flatten your lower back onto the floor, press down, your spine is pushing down, lower abs are contracted, and relax. Inhale. Exhale, push down. And relax. So your tempo kind of depends on your breathing rate, okay? So just take nice slow breaths, pause for a second. Inhale as you're relaxing. Exhale as you're squeezing. Two more. All right, back to our cross leg crunch, okay? So your one leg is crossed over, the opposite hand is up by your ear. You're gently kind of holding your head. You're not cranking up on your neck as you pull up. So basically your head is doing, holding its own. Your hand is just up there. Okay, switch it up once you get to your 12. Perfect. All right, so we have one round left. Roll it over. All right, so you got the high plank walk out. All right, deep breath and go. All right. Roll back to your back. Let's roll around the set. All right, so we've got our pelvic tilt. So big breath in to prepare and exhale, squeeze. All right, and the last exercise for the day, cross crunch. All right, one arm goes up, opposite knee, and go. Okay, get to your 12, and switch. And 12. All right, that's it for the exercises. We got another one done. Get into your position for the stretches. So legs stretched out in front of you. Just fold over. Okay, bring your feet in. Bottoms of your feet touch, knees fall open. Again, a little lean forward. Okay, 90-90, so 90-degree angles in both knees. And then lean forward. Okay, switch sides. Perfect, all right. Flip over so you're in your hands and knees. And then sit back on your heels. Walk out for child's pose. all fours. Arch your back up like a cat. And drop it down. Just go back and forth between these two positions. Perfect. And we're going to come to our half kneel. So one knee on the ground. Whatever knee is on the ground, that arm goes up and over. All right, switch sides. Perfect. Come on up from the floor. And then find something to hold on to for balance. Pull the leg up. Okay, same thing on the other side. And our very last one, as usual, grab your hands behind your back, pull your shoulders back. Perfect. All right. Excellent work. Thank you for joining the live. Obviously, it'll be there for the replay for everybody. Let me think. So we shifted to Friday. I believe it is 10 o'clock. Whatever I said in the group. I don't have my schedule in front of me, but I think it's 10. See you guys then.